Okay, so here's the gearbox out of the Echo 1 CSR. I am going to do an internal review on this thing. It's going to be a full-length video. I'm just going to be taking individual video clips as I find something new or find something interesting to film. The first thing is I just got the gearbox out. It was kind of tricky, but actually this gun breaks down fairly nicely. I mean, I'll just show you right now. I mean, those are really all the pieces to the gun. I mean, you have the selector switch, the takedown lever, the main body, the handguards, and then the bolt. I mean, it's actually quite simple to break down when you think about it. The one thing I wanted to show you on the gearbox is where the motor screws are. If you can see that, it's just like lathered in red Loctite. And that's actually something I've noticed throughout this entire gun, was that I would just look at it and there'd be like red Loctite everywhere on this thing. If you look at the hop up here, you can also see that. Let me show you better. I mean, if you just look, I mean, it's the hop up unit has red Loctite on it everywhere. I mean, that's just, it's one strange thing about this gun that I've noticed was just they overdid it with the Loctite, I would say. This gun did have a quality control sticker on it too, so I don't know if all of them are going to come like this. I mean, if you're not going to take the gun apart, it's great that they have, you know, made it so nothing's going to come loose on you, but for people who want to maintenance their gun, that's a pain in the butt to work on. I'm going to have to clean that up and stuff. But let me take the gearbox apart here and show you guys more. Alright, so I got the motor cage off. This is the first step in taking apart the gearbox. And this is a high torque motor, I can already tell. And it's crazy powerful right now. I mean, I can barely spin it with my fingers. That's how strong this thing is. So if you wanted to put in any type of spring setup, you know, any type of FPS you want, you could probably do it with this stock motor. It's a really powerful motor, I'll tell you that much right now. Another thing too that I noticed was, I was just getting ready to take the screws off, there's no anti-reversal latch. Like traditionally you would have a little, you know, the latch right there and you could pull it, but that's not there. Basically you just have to, this back hole, you actually can push something in there and that'll release the anti-reversal latch. So it's a little bit different, but once you do that, it's pretty much the same. Alright, so I think I got all of the screws out, everything that is, you know, holding the gearbox together at this point. One thing that was a little bit confusing was the trigger right here. When the gearbox is all, you know, everything was put together, I just got it off the gun, I looked at this and I turned it over and I'm just like, oh my god, this is going to be complicated. Because you have all of these little different pieces. You have the trigger, you have that gear there. I'll actually zoom in on these for you. You have a small plate that goes over it, then you have another small gear, and then you have a plate that goes over all of it just to hold it in place. Now this looks really complicated and such, but looking at it, it actually doesn't seem that hard. I mean, all the pieces just, it's basically just like a Lego set. You put one on, then the next one, then the next one, the next one, and it all works. So it looks a little bit complicated at first, but I don't think it will be a problem later on. Let me get all this out of the way. Yeah, I got the gearbox here. I'm going to try to see if I can open it. I got the anti-reversal latch tripped, so hopefully I won't have any problems with that. Yeah, everything seems to be loosened up. Make sure the gears are going to come with the gearbox here. And there's no hole in the back, so it might be a little bit difficult to take the, there we go. So, here's the inside of the gearbox. This is also another thing I saw too, was the grease job was pretty bad. I could even tell from the outside. Let me clean the area up a little bit and I'll come back and show you the insides of this gun. Alright, so I got everything cleaned up here. And I got all the pieces out of the gearbox. Let's look at them all one at a time. Let's start with the gear set. Now, I think these are like standard gears. Like you could put, you know, a standard set of gears in this gun. But what I found with these gears stock is, yes, they are indeed steel, and they're very bulky and they're very heavy-duty gears. I mean, as you can see, those teeth are huge on the sector gear right here. And then also on the bevel gear here, you can see I mean, they're just really beefed up gears. They're very high quality, I can tell you that. I don't really see any of these breaking on you. Spur gear set, like again, very heavy duty, and you know, just overall a pretty good gear set. Now this is the CSR, so it has the fourth little gear. Basically, it's just a smaller version of a spur gear. It's not the same. You won't be able to buy an aftermarket one unless you can, you know, find one that's just like this. But you know, it's a steel gear. I don't think it could break on you. So yeah, there's the gears for you. Let's go on there to the shimming. There was some shims on the gears. Not too many though. I did find that there was a lot of movement in the bevel gear and the sector gear, or the spur gear, sorry. So probably gonna try to reshim this gearbox up when I put it back together. Might be a little bit difficult because there are 4 gears, but I will prevail and see what I can do. So from the gears, the entire reversal latch, it is a unique design. It's you know, different from, you know, a standard AR latch. Funny thing is though, I can't show you the AR latch right now because as I was cleaning these gears and stuff, I was also cleaning the anti-reversal latch and accidentally dropped it down the sink. So we'll have to filter that thing out of there later. But for now, yeah, the anti-reversal latch is a unique design. Now, one thing that was a little bit disappointing about the gun was the trigger connectors. They're not, you know, gold-plated or anything high quality. It's just cheap Chinese, I don't know, brass, whatever that is. But there was some carbon buildup already on the trigger, so I just took it out, cleaned it. Hopefully this will make it last a little bit longer. Trigger contact's not the best. Tablet plate, it's a little bit different design, reminiscent of an M14 style. It's pretty flexible, it should get the job done. So we got the cylinder head, and air nozzle assembly. One thing I found was the air nozzle fits very nicely onto the cylinder head, so you don't have to worry about like an air leak coming out of the air nozzle and cylinder head, which is great. Now another good thing too was the cylinder head is nice and secure in the cylinder. The cylinder is also of the longer type for the longer piston, so if you are going to upgrade anything, you're going to need to get the elongated versions. Now an interesting thing about the cylinder head, it was actually of very nice quality. It's got some reinforcements in the middle, so it's not going to be breaking anytime soon. And it's got a very thick damper, so that's going to increase the longevity of your gun by a long shot. And also this damper is like I don't know, concave. It kind of goes in towards the middle, kind of funnels the air towards the air, or the nozzle here. So it's a little bit different design, but I think it works very well. One O-ring seal fits pretty well. Now for the stock air compression, I also found that it was, you know, pretty good, above average. This is indeed a Chinese-made gun. I'll show it to you here. I mean, it leaks a little bit. Now these parts, you gotta remember, these are all completely dry parts. All these parts are clean, I just gotta lube them up. So when I do put some lube on here, you'll definitely see an increased performance in air pressure. But you can see it's not gonna be, it's pretty good air compression for a stock setup. Now for the piston, like I said, I do like this piston a lot. I'm thinking I might replace it though, just so I can get a full rack of teeth. I'm not a big fan of the half-racked pistons. But other than that, yeah, it's pretty good. The O-ring, very nice. I'm going to try to replace the O-ring though. I know I have an extra one laying around. It's a pretty thick one, see if I can just get a better performance out of it though. For the spring and the spring guide is all metal. It's a version 3, so it is compatible with stuff. I don't see why you would want to upgrade this though. It's very heavy duty. It's very free moving. The bearings are very loose, so you don't have to worry about your spring binding up. And then the spring too, like Brian was talking about, it is a shorter type of spring, but it's about an equivalent to an M150. So if you wanted to, you could, you know, put whatever type of spring you want in here. I have no doubt that the stock motor can pull it, and I have no doubt that these internals can handle even a heavier spring. Everything seems very beefed up and such. I'd say my only main concern right now for this gearbox would be the shim job and possibly the piston because it is of a different, design and teeth. But other than that, I'm very happy with the internals of this gun. Other than being, overly greased, that was kind of expected being a Chinese gun, but just clean up the grease and you have yourself a very good weapon here. So with that, that's been the internal review of the Echo One CSR. If you got any questions, feel free to ask them. I'll answer them to the best of my knowledge. And stay tuned for more videos.